frame up our intraday trading better, right? Because the higher time frame is always going to give us less detailed but more information, right? Like the volume's higher on the higher time frame, things take longer to form, so they've got more money, the objectives are likely to be met, etc. Right? So it's like, if we just look at this chart, right, and we start from a really high time frame and we go, okay, well, we've we've had some sort of weekly breakage structure over here. Right, so we can assume that we have some form of supply up here, right? Weekly things. Sorry, let's try that again. So we have some form of supply up here, right? And then we can start looking at structure and going, okay, well, we made a higher high. Sorry, we made a higher high here. Then we made a higher low here, right? What can we start expecting? You know, and then it starts giving us ideas about what we can frame up and what we can look at, right? So now we can go, okay, so where's our higher low? Well, our higher low is here, right? As we know, strong lows, weak highs, etc., not perfectly formed, so there is the possibility of a run on this. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out, but yeah, at the moment this is our structural higher low, and we've just broken structure. If we get a reaction and like daily or even 4H commits from this point in time, we know that we can start thinking about pullbacks, right? So essentially we've had A to B, then we're looking to trade B to C, and then C to D, right? That's the idea, right? A, B, C, D, right? So we can say that we've got our A leg, so right now, you know, we can just sort of start working on this and go, all right, well, what do we have? Well, just premium discount, we can expect a retrace to below the 50%, right? Pretty simple. Is there anything we can see on weekly that could potentially act as a point of interest initially, right? Yes, we have this, right? Sorry, let me just change this. It's going to go away again, but yeah, that's fine. We'll just draw it again. You know, we've got this sell to buy price action here. We've also got like, there'll be stuff within here. So we can mark out like all of these levels and just say, okay, well, these may be reaction points, possibly for the continuation, possibly for a pullback to move higher, to move lower, something like that, right? Now we can go down and start having a look at daily. And you know, daily we can see we're extended, right? We've been running liquidity here, right? So what's the next thing we're likely to do? Again, the next thing we're likely to do is create a pullback, right? You know, we can see that this is quite nice here, right? So we can enlarge that a little bit. We've definitely got like this wick down here, and on daily we have this big wick at the bottom. So these are all areas that we can look for potential pullbacks of the pullback, right? Because this is now going to be a bearish trend on 4H if we come into this, right? So now, how does that help us frame up intraday, right? And the answer is that when we start breaking demand levels, specifically here, right, nice demand level, right, or if we break structural lows like here, right, we're almost definitely going to get a retrace back down to these levels, right? So we can start thinking, and this is just like working on daily, right? Okay, cool, we've had a change of character, wicked, right? So now we get like this level here, potentially. right? And we can start thinking, all right, maybe we'll get a pullback off there, you know, okay, we react to this. Cool, what happens next? Well, we do have these wicks here now as well. They've reacted to some form of supply, so we might see, depending on lower time frame confirmations, we might see like this level build liquidity to the later mitigation of this, something like that. Right, yeah, that's what we see. Price continues down, right, respects these daily ranges for now. So now we can just think, okay, well, we're bearish until we hit at least the 50% of this, right? And that's exactly what we do, right? We hit the 50% of this, right? We get a nice engulfing candle, so now we can start to look for longs for a potential later mitigation, right, of perhaps something in here, because this is like our structural low now. Oh, sorry. Right, but it just gives us such good framework for our intraday trading, right? Because now we can say, all right, well, what we want to look for is a run, you know, here, back up to something in here to potentially see a pullback or potentially a continuation to lower prices, or we may see like a run on this liquidity up into like this unmitigated supply zone, you know, but now we can start looking for longs, right? Price rallies up, right, drops off of there, perfect, right? We've got this other daily doji now, you know, so again, another potential area for longs if it, you know, if we get correct confirmations from it, right? What happens? Yeah, we've already got confirmations there, right? Price continues on up. Okay, cool. It comes up, or just misses the mitigation. I would guess there's something on 4H in there, right? Just misses the mitigation, but you can see how, you know, now we've had this run on liquidity, right? We haven't broken this high. We failed to close above it. Right, so now what's the next likely objective? Well, the next likely objective is this low down to a lower mitigation down here somewhere, right? And what happens? Price continues, right? We get another, well, we get a change of character up here, so we can probably expect some form of a pullback into at least this range here. Right, what happens? Okay, price taps the bottom of the range and dies, right? And you see how powerful this is, like just working with the higher time frame. We're not doing anything weird, we're not doing anything crazy, just looking at the daily, right? You know, now we're looking at this and saying, okay, this is a weak low, so this is likely to be the overall target now, right? So we know that longs here, which would probably be valid on the lower time frame, should only be held to here to look for continued shorts. Right, because we're trading towards that weak low goes, right, we tap into that, right, and these are all based off weekly levels, right, so you see we're not getting like trapped like looking at this, we're not getting trapped looking at like, you know, other stupid levels, whatever, right. Now what do we do? Well, we missed the mitigation here, right, so potentially, you know, this could come up. And we are sort of quite heavily bullish at the moment, right? So what have we got? Well, we've got a couple of scenarios that could play out, right? We've got, we are still bearish, sorry, weekly's bullish, but we've got like this level here, right? This whole supply range that we've literally just tagged the bottom of, right? I think we tagged the bottom of that just. Let me have a look. Or we just missed it, right? But we've got this whole other larger range as well, like here to here, right? So we know that, yeah, in theory we're still looking for shorts, unless we get some serious confirmations, so let's see what happens. Well, still just missed the bottom of that, but hey ho. Now we can see, okay, cool, now we've got a nice deep mitigation down here, right? We tap into that daily wick down here. We've got liquidity to target. We know that overall this is our weekly low. We know that potentially this is a week high, right? So now we can look for longs to like take out these points of liquidity. Right, mitigate potentially something up here. You know, we've got these wicks here, which are really nice. You know, we've got this daily up here. We've got this whole range still that's only been tapped at the bottom, but we definitely have this. Right, we've got this unmitigated level above that's got lovely levels of inducement. You know, price continues on up. As soon as we take out this point of supply here, right, we can start assuming that, okay, we're probably going to get fairly deep retrace, at least to the 50% of this. Right, if we get there, daily structure is bullish. Right, price continues on up. Oh, it just misses this, but it's in this larger range, so there's probably a trade in there somewhere. Right, price continues on up, gives us another sell out of the mitigation. No, this one hasn't reacted, reacts to something a little bit higher, which is fine. But yeah, now daily structure is bullish, right? So once we get that daily mitigation, we're either waiting for a change in character to confirm bearishness, or it to continue through. Right, and we can just, again, watch it on daily, right? We've got a daily boss there, we've got a daily boss here. Right, so we've got a higher low that we can trade from at the moment. Yeah, we've got a higher low here that we can trade from. Right, anything in here is valid really. You know, price continues to the upside, perfect. Okay, takes out this. Right, tags this. Now what happens? Now it's the next question, right? So we start ranging. Okay, we push the high. Okay, we get a change of character here. So now what can we assume? Now what can we assume? Right, well, weekly at the moment has failed to close above this, so you know we may get some shorts off of here. You know, we create some form of weekly daily supply here again. Right, price reacts, gives us another close below here. Right, so we have that little internal boss. So again, we can just keep looking for shorts. Right, we're high up in a leg. Down. We're high up in the leg. You know, we've got this nice. Well, we've got this whole daily range, and we've got this specific sell to buy. Well, this wick really, this whole thing. Right, price comes in, gives us a beautiful reaction. Continue. Another boss. Well, not on daily, but yeah, like on 4 hour, there's going to be a boss there. But you see, now we can start, you know, tying all of this in with 15M stuff, right? So we can start saying, okay, cool. Well, like, what story can we build? Okay, well, we're seeing the start of bearish pressure, right? We've reacted to this level of demand. Right, we've failed to follow through, we've given a break of structure. Well, not a break of structure on daily, but yeah. We've got like this whole range here. Right, so we can start looking at potential shorts in here, right? So now what can we come up with in here? Well, let's go down onto the 4H, you know, okay, well, 4H, you know, we've got this whole range, really, would be our 4H range from here to here. Right, so we can start looking and seeing what happens. Okay, price taps in, cool, now we can start monitoring 15M, right? And we're working all of this off of daily. Right, this high has failed to put in, this low has failed to put in a new high, this reaction here has failed to put in a new high, so we know this low is weakened, right? So we can start framing up entries, right? And then we can just say, okay, cool, well, we've got a 15-minute break here. Right, we can see we've had a break of some form of structure to the left here. Right, so now what do we have? Well, we have a couple of ranges. This one being my favorite. Right, so if we come in there, we start seeing price action developing there nicely. Cool, we tap that. Do we give a 15-minute change of character there? Do we trade below that line? Yeah, we do. Right, so we're taking the high, taking the low. So cool, we can look at this. Right, price comes in, comes a bit higher, right, but we're trading confirmations anyway. So, oh well, this is a bit out of session as well, to be honest, but yeah. Price develops liquidity, right, coming back into London. The next day, you know, we want to be looking at like this week, something above here. Right, price comes in, pushes, gives us a nice change of character here. So you know we can look at stuff within here and we can go down some time frame. We can't go down time frames. But yeah, you get the idea, right? It's just about framing stuff off of higher time frames, right? Here we go, we come back into the extreme wick here. Right, price continues to break down. And you know, so we've got an entry here. You know, where's the first place we're looking at partials, right? Well, the first place, the minimum we're looking at partials is that, really. Right, and if we look at this on a bigger scale, again, we've failed to react to this, so really we could say the next target will probably be this. Right, and then we can take partials there and just see how price continues to develop, which, you know, just melts. Right, but it's all just built off monitoring that daily chart. You know, we don't give, in general, we don't give enough time to the higher time frames. Right, that's where we're going to catch those big moves, right? Like essentially here, we could have got in shorts, you know, here, in here, right? Then we could get in longs from, you know, down here, here, right? Here. And then shorts, you know, as soon as we get our daily chart, we can start looking at more shorts. Here. You know, like, and it's just really simply trading that, right? And now we can see that this has failed to create, this on weekly has failed to create a new high. So in theory, this low goes and the target is below that, right? The target's something down here, you know, like below these lows. And what happens? It's exactly what price does. Right, it just continues, and you can constantly see it's just moving A to B, B to C, C to D, right, and then just playing those continuations away from it. So yeah, hope that helps, and talk to you all soon. Bye.